They finally done it, people. It's been a long, rigorous, painful couple of years for Norwegian football. Or you could say for 2 decades. But for the first time since 1998, Norway will be playing at a World Cup. First off, a round of applause for every Norwegian football fan that has suffered. Because I'm going to now highlight some results from 2016, only 9 years ago, or almost now 10 years ago. In 2016, Norway beat Finland 2-0, beat Iceland 3-2, lost to Belarus at home 1-0, lost to Azerbaijan 1-0 away. They were tied with San Marino 1-1. They would go on to win the game 4-1, but the mere fact you were drawing at home to San Marino is trouble. And now, you see where they have gone to. 10 years later, and they're destroying teams. This qualifying campaign from Norway is pure domination, pure footballing expert. And while I had the game as like a second screen on here today, watching against Italy, all this talk by Gattuso, oh, we should be going to the World Cup. If we were in CAF, if we were in CONMEBOL. And then Esposito kind of, woke up the beast, Erling Braut Haaland. And then Erling Braut Haaland said, cool, I'll just score 2 goals in 2 minutes. Shh. That's what I love about this Norwegian team. You know what they have? Arrogance. You know what they have? Footballers. You know what they have? Togetherness. There's finally, after all of the years of Norwegian football suffering from, that mental collapse that they would have. Like we saw at Scotland at home in the last Euro qualifiers, Serbia playoffs. It always seemed like the big moments for this Norwegian team, they would just shrink. They're not shrinking anymore. These Vikings are goddamn dangerous. And that main Viking, Erling Braut Haaland, in 8 games in these qualifiers, has scored 16 goals. 16 goals, people. That's 2 goals per game. If you had a KD ratio of 2 on COD, oh, you'd be the GOAT. It is outrageous what Norway have produced. But before I go more into like individual players, I think a massive shout out to Solbakken, because the narrative about him after those Euro qualifiers was sack him. When you bottle it at home to Scotland the way you did, the poor performances, we weren't seeing the commanding performances that this generation warranted. I think there was massive pressure on Solbakken to at least get to the playoffs. But I'm outstanding, and I think he gave a wonderful speech ahead of the clash at San Marino, ahead of the San Siro, where he said, we need to fight. I don't want to see one person being lazy. And I think that just breeds the fact that Solbakken now has found a unity with this team, that all of these players are buying into, hey guys, we're actually that team. We have so much quality within our side. Look at Ryerson with his stupid haircut. I mean, that haircut today, by the way, is one of the worst haircuts I've ever seen, but at least we're going to see it at the World Cup. You just see the quality, Ayer to Wolf to Ryerson to Sanderberg to Patrick Berg to Antonio Nusa, Oscar Bob, Ødegaard, who hasn't even played in the last 4 games, to Sørloth, to Haaland, to Nyland. I mean, this Norwegian team is just stacked. But Solbakken finally, after many years of painful, pretty much experimentation, a lot of painful years of performing below expectations, the fact that he has managed a pure perfect campaign and absolutely destroyed Italy 7-1 on aggregate scoreline, massive credit has to go to Solbakken. And I think massive credit should go to the Norwegian FA for sticking by him. Because they could have easily said after those Euro qualifiers where they failed to qualify, afuera, adios, we don't need you here. You failed many times with Norway. Why should we believe in you to do it again? Well, credit to the Norwegian FA and credit to the players. They stuck by Solbakken, and Solbakken delivered a historic campaign, because the fact that Norway won, go perfect. Not many teams in Euro qualifiers go perfect, people. 8 for 8. 37 goals scored, 5 conceded, plus 32 goal difference. This is, if you do that, even in 10 games. That is ridiculous. Or back in the day when it was 12 games. You did that in 8 games? Yeah, you could say, Michael, it's not the toughest of groups. Italy are weak. Israel are weak. I get it. A plus 32 goal difference is outrageous. Outrageous. And the fact that we are going to now see Erling Braut Haaland, who will go down as one of the greatest strikers ever at a World Cup, I think is what football needs. We need to see the best players at the World Cup. We need to see one of the greatest strikers ever at the World Cup. We really need to see what Erling Braut Haaland can do at a World Cup. Now, what should the expectations for him be at the World Cup? Oh, just keep scoring. Because the dude is an absolutely goal-scoring machine at the moment in time. And I think it's just awesome now that we can see Erling Haaland. Well, maybe people doubted him. Oh, can he really do it with Norway? I mean, this guy's already the all-time top goal scorer for Norwegian football. He will easily go down as their greatest player ever. And if he can produce at a World Cup, if he can just produce like 3 to 4 goals in the tournament, I think that's sensational from him. And I think that is sensational stepping stone to get even better with this Norwegian team. And Haaland during these qualifiers, I mean, you pissed him off, he would drop 5 on you. If you got him a little bit mad, he'd drop 3 on you. And today, Esposito got him a little bit aggravated and he said, okay, I'll score 2 goals. Let me get involved in this game. I mean, this dude is one of the most scariest players I've ever seen. And I don't want to hear this cry about, oh, he's not technically gifted. Oh, his link-up play is poor. Any team in this world, in basically any generation, would have killed to have a player like Erling Braut Haaland. And the fact that Norway are going to have him at the World Cup in the form he's in right now, I think it's going to be a special, special World Cup. And I just love it. We get to see him at a World Cup and he deserves it. He deserves it because he's going to go down as one of the greatest strikers ever. And it would have been a real, real shame if one of the greatest strikers ever was not at the marquee event in football, which is the World Cup. Champions League is cool. What does everybody tune into? What do 2 billion people around the world tune into? The World Cup. And this crazy-ass Viking will be there to torment every side around the world. So if you're any team around the world, you don't want to go up against Erling Braut Haaland. You don't. There are other players, though. Antonio Nusa, maybe 20 years old right now, just made the move to RB Leipzig a couple seasons ago. He's dealt with some injuries. He hasn't dealt with the most consistent of performances. But Antonio Nusa, these qualifiers, has also been utterly outstanding. I mean, the amount of goals, he has scored 2 goals and 3 assists. He tormented Italy on both occasions. Him plus Oscar Bob plus Sorloth. And you can still bring like a Jakob Staran Larsen into this team. Norway's attacking depth is ridiculous. I mean, Antonio Nusa and Oscar Bob, for the young age they are, they're fearless. They got technical skill. It doesn't fear them that they have to beat a man in one-on-one situations. You know, typically today forwards, they just want to pass it backwards. Antonio Nusa and Oscar Bob see the defender and they're saying barbecue chicken. It's time to eat. It's time to roast these guys. And they will cause trouble. Because Norway are such a good team in these qualifiers where they can play in possession. They can find those pockets of space in the number 10s, whether it was Ødegaard, a Patrick Berg, a Sander Berg, or Sorloth kind of finding those, inside 10s, or with either Oscar Bob or Antonio Nusa. Or they can play the counter-attacking game. And you play the counter-attacking game against Antonio Nusa, Oscar Bob, Sorloth, and Haaland. Good luck. Good luck. That's all I have to say. Good luck. Outstanding campaign from Nusa. Outstanding campaign from Sorloth, who I'm not his biggest fan. I feel like sometimes, especially for Atleti, this guy just doesn't have a huge presence on the game, even though he's got decent technical skill. He's a physical monster. But Sorloth, these qualifiers, in that sort of right wing, right 10 position, he's been cooking a majority of these qualifiers as well. So Sorloth, I think it deserves a huge, huge credit. But another underrated player is Ryson. I love this right back. He might not be the most elegant going forward. He's had a couple assists, if memory serves me right. But defensively, I think he's just so strong in one-on-one situations that makes him also a very, very difficult player to go up against. So Shout out to Ryson. Shout out to Sunderberg in the midfield, who's just a gem, man. I don't think he gets spoken highly enough because he plays at Fulham. He's a tall guy. Oh my God. Does he really offer a lot to the game? But Sunderberg is a key player. Also, Patrick Berg, who we all know from Bodo Glimt. This Norwegian team, this generation, finally, after the years and years of disappointments, believing that you could have hype into this national team, the fact that they finally produced it in the most convincing and dominating fashion possible, it must bring so much joy to Norwegians and Norwegian football fans because, it's a cross-country skiing country. It's dominated by cross-country skiing. You're seeing how a lot of their track and field stars are doing. Now that the football is taking off, look at the success of Bodo Glimt to a Molde, to a Brann, and how well they're doing in European competitions. This is no fluke. It's only the beginning, people. There are going to be more talents, but there will not be a talent like Erling Braut Haaland, but more and more talents are emerging from Norway. So buckle up. Norway are here to stay, and this World Cup heading into next year, it could be a special one. I know a lot of people will go with the dark horses sort of idea with Norway, but I think you also have to understand, if you look at the history of Norwegian football, they only made it to the World Cup in 1938, round of 16, 1994 group stage. 1998 was just the last time they made it to round of 16. They had to beat Brazil in the final group stage game to qualify, and they've only made it to 1 Euros. So this team is not, football heritage. It doesn't have a huge heritage in football. So if people want to say, oh, they should be making it to the quarterfinal, semifinal, if Norway make it to the round of 16 after all of these years, that's a huge step in the right direction. And then you head into the Euro 2028, and then you say they should be performing there. But shout out to every Norwegian. You guys finally did it. Happy for my Nordic brothers, because I know as a Finnish person seeing national team in pain, Norwegians have felt so much pain watching this national team and seeing the amount of crazy talent at your disposal. You just got to be proud. You just have to be proud of just sticking by a structure, having good coaching at a youth level, and look at what you produce. A national team that is dunking on Italy away from home 4-1 and beating them at home 3-0. Convincing, incredible. Norway have finally returned to the World Cup for the first time since 1998. What do you think, people? How far do you think Norway will go at the World Cup? How many goals will Haaland score at the World Cup? And are they the dark horses for you right now? Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here for more World Cup qualifying content. And of course, we'll be doing a draw reaction to the group stage in December. And follow me on all the socials, Instagram, Twitter, join the Discord, all those links, description down below. But have a beautiful day. Stay safe in this crazy world. Till next time, adios.